What did I tell you? Let's do this up.
Cheer, cheer the red and the white, honor the name by day and by night. Lift that noble banner high, shake down the thunder from the sky. Whether the odds be great or small, Swans will go in and win overall. While our loyal Swans are marching onwards to victory.
Fantastic! Fantastic! What a win! We don't need to do we?
Cheer, cheer the red and the white, honor the name by day and by night. Lift that noble banner high, shake down the thunder from the sky. Whether the odds be great or small, Swans will go in and win overall. While our loyal Swans are marching onwards to victory.
What did I tell you? What did I tell you? Alright, that's enough of that. Let's actually get into what we need to be doing today. What did I tell you? Knew it. I called it last week. We may not have belted them by 70, but we still got the W. We still got the W. Let's put the other AirPod in so we can have better audio quality than last week. Hopefully. Let's run through the round. Let's get straight into it. We had some of the worst and some of the best footy this weekend. I swear, we had Essendon won by 3. I streamed this game. Some stuff was weird with the stream. We had some interesting characters in chat. Don't mind them, the interesting characters. Sheezel got 30 touches, but only one contested. So, old Kano was unfortunately right. What was that noise? It was an email. I don't care. Go away. Yeah, and Zach Merritt is him. Like, Zach Merritt is him. That's just how it is. Zach Merritt is him. North just literally don't know how to win. They don't know how to do it. Like, it comes down to the end and they just don't know how to win. Like, they had every opportunity to beat Essendon. Essendon had so many injuries towards the end. Almost as many as the Swans. Keyword is almost. Yeah, Bombers won by 3 in the end, and North could not get over the line, much to the distaste of the mighty Shinboners. Oh, this is even worse. The halftime scores on this Friday night game were 27-7. Less than 35 points at halftime. Less than 6 goals. In fact, no, 5 goals at halftime. 5. Saints can sometimes play in primetime because they played interesting footy before. Freo again, if Freo Mantle and the St Kilda Footy Club play in primetime, they have to play against interesting footy clubs. Okay? We cannot have St Kilda playing Fremantle in any other time slot except a Sunday 6:10 p.m. Eastern Time. That's the only time slot we can let these two sides play. The only one. Do they play again later in the season? Well, let's check that quickly. Team Fremantle. Alright, let's go. They do play again in Perth. Date and time to be confirmed. Thank you. If the AFL put that anywhere near prime time, then we have a serious problem. Even more serious than the free kick count in the GWS. But I'm going to get to that later. It doesn't matter because we won that game. And so the Saints. They turned on the second half, won by 61 points in the end. Fremantle managed to score less than GWS did against Adelaide, and it wasn't even raining. It was under the roof. That's how bad it was. That's shocking. Freo just... They're so bad away from home. At home, you're thinking, Freo are back. They're back. They can win a game. Look, they won a really good game against Adelaide last week. Nope. They stink away. They stink real bad away. They stink real terrible away. Alright, who we got next? Who played on Saturday? Yes. Port Adelaide. Tarps. We're getting the tarps out with this one. 90-point winners to the Dogs. Dogs look really, really good. Really, really, really good. Bont is so good. And he's really good in the media space too. You hear what he said to Bailey Smith? Maybe less people in Ballarat for him to flip the bird to. Woo-hoo! Watch that round 11 game. Jeez. That'll be a fiery contest. Fiery, I'll tell you. Port Adelaide are bad. They were good for a bit. Well, not really. Like I said, I called it as well. Port Adelaide are just the kings of winning ridiculously ugly. Wait, no, that's Brisbane. My bad. My bad. Port Adelaide, though, they lost a bunch of games. We all thought they were bad. Then they beat Hawthorn, probably because of emotions. They had a really scrappy win against Sydney, which they should have lost. Sydney should have won if we could kick straight in the last quarter. Then they only managed to beat North Melbourne by 9 points. And then after that, everyone was just like, Port, they might have a sniff here. Dogs are great, but Port, they've won 3 on the trot. Nope. Belted by 90 points. I may not have called it by 90 points, but I said 55. So that's close enough for me. I can't hear myself talk with two of them in, so I'm going to use this one like a microphone. Who do we have? That's pretty much it for the Dogsport. Carr is taking over Hinkley's job potentially sooner than intended by Ken Hinkley, the man with the succession plan, as I say to him. Okay, let's see. Who played at 4:15? This was fun. Another smashing. Adelaide are good again. Which Adelaide and Freo, they win at home and they don't play as well away. But the difference is Adelaide can sometimes get a win on the road. Freo just can't. Have Freo won a game away from Perth this year? Round 1 loss, round 2 loss. That was at home though. We were just that good. Round 3 win. It was away, but it was still in Perth. Who else? Round 4 win in Perth. Round 5 in Gather Round's the one they won away from Perth because they played Richmond, which is pretty much a free win unless you have Gold Coast or Carlton. Melbourne won by 10. Fremantle played away. Fremantle played at home the next week and won by 3 goals. Then they played away and got belted by 60. Okay, that's how Fremantle work. Adelaide, however, can win away. Have they won away? Hang on, chat. We're going back. Surely they've won away. Right. They've won away. Hang on. They've definitely won away. We wouldn't be thinking they're anywhere near this good if they haven't won away yet. They beat Essendon. Although that is a bit of a watch for them. You play them if they're playing away from the Adelaide Oval, they don't become as good anymore, to be honest. So that's a bit of a fraud watch for the Crows there, away from Adelaide Oval. But the Blues are bad, and I love it because we have to play them in 2 weeks, and I like playing bad teams, which means we get bigger wins, even bigger wins. Who did well for Adelaide? Dawson. But Dawson kicked. I think he kicked 3 goals, 22 touches. What a player! How did we lose him? Huh? Sydney, come on. We had him back in 2020. And before, I think we had him for even longer, maybe. Potentially. We're going to be checking that. Let's check that stat. I think we had him in 2021 as well. Let's see. Player stats. Jordan Dawson was a Swan in 2021. What about 2022? We lost him for 2022. But he was a Swan, and he was a good Swan. How did we lose him? Now he's such a good Crow, and we might lose to him single-handedly. Alright, so here's what I think. The AFL thought we were satisfied with Essendon versus North. We weren't, even though it was a close game. It was still bad. Then they gave us 3 very mediocre games, 3 beltings, all over 60 points. So they decided to compensate and give us the game of the year. Maybe. There are a few contenders for that. Should we go through the contenders really, really quickly? Alright, you know what? Screw it, let's go through the contenders. Richmond Carlton, that's a contender. Brisbane Sydney is not a contender, to be honest. It wasn't that good of a game. That wasn't good. Hang on. Well, we're going through the contenders. There's more than one contender. I know it. We all know it. Come on. I can't go much. Oh, Gold Coast at Adelaide. Contender number 2. And do I hear a third contender? A gather round contender, perhaps? Gather round just had a lot of it. Oh, nah, Geelong versus Adelaide wasn't really a contender, even though it was a good game. Oh, yes, this is the one I was looking for. Geelong versus Hawthorn. Easter Monday. And then we had this one. Geelong is just playing contender games versus Collingwood. Now, personally, for mine, as they say on the True Bloods podcast, which I would love to be in, but alas, cannot. For mine, I think Easter Monday pips this one just by the barest of margins, chat. Just the Easter Monday one pips this. It's pipped. Just, chat. But this is still a really good game. Crisp had the opportunity to make this the most fairy tale thing in the world. How did Crisp do in his big game? Longest game streak, by the way. Could have won the game off his own boot. Didn't. He did terribly. Wait, where? I'm looking through fantasy right now. Where the hell is he? Am I blind? What is this? Oh no, there you go. 15 touches, 13 kicks, 1 behind. If that was a goal, then we would have been lauding Chris as the hero for Collingwood Football Club. But, no, the hero of this game was a man. And because this man was playing Collingwood, it was fitting that it was an older bloke. I think we both know who I'm talking about. Patrick Dangerfield put on a masterclass. A masterclass, I tell you, in the last quarter. Like, 13 touches and a goal in 1 quarter is elite. Chat, it's elite. This video is going for a while, so let's speed this up. Melbourne versus West Coast. All we really need to know from this game is Max Gawn is the best ruck of all time. There were some doubts about him being the best ruck of all time earlier this year, so he just came out and said, yeah, I'm the best ruck of all time. 35 touches, a goal, and 44 hit-outs. And then we briefly touched on this in the opening of the potty. Do we need to get the Swan song out again? We'll put it on a lower volume. We're going to put it on a lower volume to the volume that it was on before. But, like, we have to get it out. We just have to. We just have to. It's a necessity, chat. It's a necessity. Swans beat the Giants by 14 points, 3/4 time margin. I was at that game, to be honest. The first quarter was bliss. I'm like, yes, we're going to win a game at home. Let's go. The second quarter, the equivalent, the second quarter, I want to say one thing about it. I'm going to say one stat that describes the second quarter. 27-9. The free kick count to GWS. GWS, 27 free kicks to 9. We nearly got umped by the Giants. The Giants nearly just umped us. And it was scary. And that number 15 umpire, you know, real J. Jonah Jameson from Spider-Man type guy, you know, with the mustache. You know who I'm talking about, that guy. The guy that said to Heaney, don't ever talk to me like that again. After he pays Heaney, sorry, he doesn't pay Heaney, he paid against Heaney a holding the ball, that it was more of a high tackle than a holding the ball. He grabbed it, he was still in the air, and he got tackled, and he was pinch holding the ball. That is not a free kick, sir. But it doesn't matter. The third quarter, we still got the rest of the momentum back at the end, and then the fourth quarter, we kicked some really early goals to just run away with it. Hey, the song literally just ended right then. That was perfect. Ads can go away. I don't like ads. They can go away. But yeah, that's pretty much all we have to say about the Swans versus Giants. And never doubt me again. When I say the Swans will win, the Swans will win. I'm going to say that every week, so we're going to win every week, and then we're going to win the flag. Hawks are good, Richmond are bad. Enough said. This was terrible. This was such a bad game. We were all hyping it up. It was 3 goals in the end, but Gold Coast were never up to it. They were never up to the Brizzy Lions. The Brisbane Bears. Dare to beat the bear. That's such a much better song than Brisbane have now. It's unbelievable. Like, that song is so much better than We Are the Pride of Brisbane Town. Alright. Now, before we get to the tips, I have something for you. Here's the secret to getting your club to win the next weekend. Subscribing to my YouTube channel. That is how you get your club a win in round 9. Fremantle fans, I know you've been through tough times lately. That big loss to Saints. Subscribe to my channel, and who knows? Maybe you come out against Collingwood. But if more Collingwood fans subscribe than Freo fans, Collingwood will win. So put your votes down in the comments. Tell me which team you support and that you subscribed, so we can get an accurate representation of how my subscribers and which footy club they support. That wasn't a sentence that was worded properly. What footy club do my subscribers support? If we get more Freo than Collingwood, Freo win. If we get more Collingwood than Freo, Collingwood win. And this is a good segue into my tips for next week. Woohoo! Fremantle are bad, Collingwood are good, but it's at home for Freo, so I can see a Fremantle win here. We have option 1, go with the Ruffy upset by Freo, or option 2, go with Collingwood. Now, a lot of you might say Collingwood is the correct option. I think it's going to be another close loss for the mighty Collingwood Football Club. I think Freo get it done. Freo get the job done in the West, and everyone's going to think they're great again for beating one of the best sides in the comp, unfortunately. But then they're going to go away to who do they have in round 10? Give me a second. Shit, I can't click and I got the results up. I can click and I got the results up. They're playing GWS away, so they're going to lose that badly. Freo beat Collingwood by 3 points. Another heartbreaking loss for Collingwood fans. Really going through it at the moment. I would be so sorry for you, but you're Collingwood fans. Some of you are nice. I know some nice Collingwood fans. I also know that that's the 0.1% of Collingwood fans. Moving on. The St Kilda Footy Club is playing the Carlton Blues at the MCG on a Friday night. So let's just pause and go back to this round when Fremantle and St Kilda stunk it up on Friday night. And now they're both getting, Freo's getting the Thursday and St Kilda are getting the Friday. That works somehow. So, yep. I'm gonna go with the Saints. Saints coming off a 60-point win. The Blues coming off a 60-point loss. Footy maths is footy maths. All right, Melbourne, Hawthorn smashed them. And Melbourne Max Gawn might pull out 40 touches, 50 hit-outs and 2 goals and single-handedly beat the Hawthorn Football Club. But he can't be Superman for like 2 weeks in a row. That's too much to ask. He did really well against Richmond, didn't he? 3 weeks in a row is too much to ask. He did really well in round 6, didn't he? 4 weeks is too much to ask. How did you do in round 5? Terribly, thank God. Yeah, 4 weeks of Max Gawn magic in a row. Is it being too much to ask? He's having a week off. He's actually having 3 weeks off because he's playing around 11. He's not beating us. My Sydney Swans. Speaking of us, my Sydney Swans are playing the absolutely ass Essendon Footy Club. Because Essendon have only beat Richmond. Sorry, they haven't played Richmond yet. That's my bad. I apologise from the bottom of my heart. But they have only beat North Melbourne and West Coast by less than a goal combined. You really think they have what it takes to match the might of the Sydney Swans Football Club? The Buds chuck us up by 43 points. 7-goal affair. Bang, 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 bang. 4 and 5 after round 9. Woohoo. TIO, we got Gold Coast, who've never lost in... Have Gold Coast never lost in Darwin, or is that just a myth? Hang on. Have Gold Coast ever lost in Darwin? Now in its third season taking home against the Gold Coast still has a perfect record. 6-0 in Darwin, and they're playing the Rampage and Western Bulldogs. I'm a tip a roughy upset. Go Gold Coast by 2 points. I think we're going to get a good round of footy here. Sure, Saints Blues will be a bit of a 3-goal snooze fest. The Hawthorn and Sydney games will be beltings. But the Freo game I think will be really close. And I think this will be also really close. And you know what else is good footy to watch? Showdowns. We love showdowns. We have a showdown at 8:10. Why is it not a standalone showdown? Footy. AFL. Fixture. Why is this not standalone? Don't these two clubs deserve standalone showdowns? I certainly think GWS Sydney do. In prime time. Why was our game against GWS at 1:10 on a Sunday when it could have been, I don't know, maybe instead of the Friday night game? Adelaide are going to win this. It's at the Adelaide Oval. Enough said. 30-point victors. Actually, no, it is a Port Adelaide home game, so there will be never tear us apart. So maybe Port Adelaide up only by 3 points, not goals. Richmond getting another win on the board against West. Will West Coast get a win soon? Like, where do we see their next win coming? Probably North, to be honest. Or if they play Richmond in Perth. They're playing at the MCG. You'd think that's a Richmond win, right? You really would think that that's Richmond's win. I don't know. Maybe West Coast get the upset, but I'm going with the safe tip of Richmond. Speaking of the safe tip, I'm not doing that. I'm going GWS. GWS are freakishly good in Geelong. At beating Geelong. And always by 4 points. Who is it? Lee Lear took one of the marks of the year last year to beat the Cats. That was a great game, and I think we're going to get something similar. Not in terms of the ending, but the great game factor. Maybe a 2-point win to GWS. Chuck GWS up by 2. All right. North Melbourne versus Brisbane. That's, even though it's in Hobart, you give Brisbane the win by like 58 points, right? It would be 80 points, but it's in Hobart, so I trust North slightly more to make it more competitive. But it's still 58 points. We're going to submit our tips. And instead of just running through our tips and just giving like the shortest reason why, which I could just do for a YouTube short and get even more views and more clout, I could do a power ranking. Let's do that. This is completely improv, so this is gonna go perfectly. I just thought of this now. All right, last place for round 8. How West Coast played pretty badly, but North played worse. Like even though North were only 3 points off Essendon, I feel like North played worse than West Coast. Only because like North should have won that game and they somehow failed to do it. So I'm going to go North in last, West Coast in 17th. I've never done this before. This is such a good idea. Hang on, let's get a tier list up while I talk to you about the Swans. The Swans are such a good footy team. I love the Sydney Swans so much. I love the Sydney Swans. The Sydney Swans are the best. No, I don't want an ultimate colour tier list. I want an AFL teams tier list. There we go. I don't want coach. Can I just get AFL teams, please? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right, North Melbourne. Last place. This is a random order, by the way. Port Adelaide. You gotta put them pretty low down. We're gonna make some tiers. Arse. Frauds. Mediocre. We might be cooking. Lids off I can't spell territory. Territory. Okay, that's the tier list. Port are frauds. West Coast are in arse, but above North. Adelaide are in we might be cooking only because of their away record. Lions, look, they've done enough for me to put them in lids off territory, but like they're in sort of fraud watch, but like the fraud watch version of lids are off. A lot of their wins have come really ugly. They only managed to beat Gold Coast by 3 goals, even though they were all over Gold Coast. So that's a bit of a fraud watch warning sort of thing from the Lions. So they're in lids off territory, but they're not, like, I'm not comfortable with it. Carlton are in media frauds, top of frauds. Collingwood are in a bit like the Lions, lids off territory, but could be dropping anytime. Essendon are mediocre. Finally, a team mediocre. Fremantle will get demoted to arse after that performance. Above West Coast and North, but still arse. Suns are still in we might be cooking. I don't know. Until I see the Suns, like, really badly, like, they were beaten by the Lions, don't get me wrong. But they were within striking distance. They just couldn't get anything going. So they're still in we might be cooking. GWS are massive frauds. But they're not as massive frauds as Carlton or Port. Hawks are in we might be cooking only because their last 2 wins have come against Richmond and West Coast. And they have Melbourne next week. So even if they belt Melbourne by 100, they're still not getting into lids off. They're below Adelaide, I think. Oh, no, above. Can't be that mean to Hawks fans. Geelong definitely lids off. They're at the top of lids off at the moment. Melbourne, they're in the bottom of mediocre. Richmond are at the top of arse. So I'm flying through this, by the way. Saints are mediocre. They win next week. Well, they can go into we might be cooking. Sydney, we might be cooking below the Suns. I can't be that biased. The Dogs, lids off at the very, very, very top. They are lids off territory. So that was Octa's round rundown plus round 9 tips plus tier power, whatever you call it, tier power rankings, we love this potty sort of episode thing. I will see you tomorrow for the random memes. Watch out for that. I hope it doesn't have to be Wednesday again, but I haven't done much for it. But don't worry, I'll cook. Don't worry, I'll cook. Yeah, I'll see you then. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. And one more thing I forgot to mention. Put who you think was the best game of the round. So, just a quick reminder before I go. The contenders are Geelong Collingwood, Geelong Hawthorn, Richmond Carlton, and Gold Coast Adelaide. One of those four, those are the shortlisted so far for Game of the Year. We're going to keep adding to that list. After I finish recording, I'll make a little Google Doc with that list. But we're going to add to that list over the season. Any games from that sort of territory that I missed, put in the comments. And don't be too biased towards your own team. I know Sydney played in some close wins and close losses, but I can't be biased. But until next time, I will see you later.